My dear brothers, this video is for the ones who seek the truth, and not for the ones who seek satisfaction and entertainment. For thousands of years, humanity has been believing in God or some supernatural power that governs the universe. Still today, many people believe in God, and many don't. Throughout the entire history of humankind, we found no solid evidence for the existence of God. So, today, I will try to prove the impossible. Many modern scientists boldly claim that God is a mere illusion, criticizing religions and calling our ancestors as foolish. They criticize religious beliefs. They say that our ancestors were all stupid fools who believed in God just to make themselves feel good. They are not completely wrong. Many people from past have blindly believed in God just because they were told to do so by the priests. But this planet has seen some great intellectual souls like Buddha, Jesus, Prophet Muhammad. We're all truly fortunate because these extraordinary individuals walked among us. All of their teaching were quite different. But the most common thing about their teaching was that they all preached about the God directly or indirectly. They must have experienced God. But you know, one thing to think about is that none of them tried to prove the existence of God. They were questioned many times. They were criticized and abused. Jesus was hung up. Plato was poisoned. People threw stones at Buddha. Even after facing so much social criticism, they never felt the need to prove God's existence to others. God never reveals himself to us, as God doesn't bother proving himself because he doesn't need to. You are the only one that wants to see him. Science doesn't support the idea that God exists because there has been no proof in the entire history of mankind. Okay, so let's talk about science. What is the logic to reject the existence of God? Do you think science is really trustable? Do you know how much science fails? There are countless things that exist in this universe that science can't explain. A research shows that 40% of the concepts that exist are still unexplained and can't be explained by science. Why can't God be one of those concepts? No, but science brutally rejects God. It's because science can't handle the thought of something existing without a logical explanation. There was a very famous scientist named Eddington. Eddington has said that when he started working as a scientist, he used to think that someday or other, this universe will be known absolutely and completely. But in the end, when he was dying, Eddington said, "Now I feel totally differently. After a whole life's effort of coming closer and closer to knowing, I have come closer and closer to more and more ignorant. No matter how much we know about this universe, there will be always something unknown." Scientists have been trying to know everything, but even after the efforts of many centuries, there's always something left unknown. Now, science has finally come to acknowledge its own failure. Actually, science fears God, because if God is somehow proven, then the whole system of science will crumble. And let me tell you that science will never be able to discover God. It can only discover the miracles of God, but not him. That's the limit of science. Okay, so now I will say the truth, so listen close. The truth is that the existence of God can't be proved. No matter what you do, it will only result in failure. Many scientists have been there in the history that tried to prove the existence of God, but the only thing that they got was failure. That's why scientists stopped believing in God altogether. The reason why God cannot be proven is that logic can't prove God, because God is beyond all logic and reasoning. That's why the great masters never tried to prove the existence of God, because they knew no matter what they do, It isn't possible to explain God through logic. He's beyond that. God isn't something you can grasp or understand with your mind. Logic is created by the mind, and God is beyond mind. You can't describe or define God in words. God is beyond words. You can't describe him or pin him down with definitions. God is not a concept or an idea. It can never be a concept. That's why science fails. The approach of science is completely violent. We want to capture the creature named God. We want to cut it out and see what's inside it, how it works. It's totally insane. You can cut open an animal and see how its body functions, but you'll never understand what gives its body life. What science can know is all dead. Science can never tell something about the mysterious force of life. So now, I am not saying that you should believe in God. But one thing is sure, that science cannot be trusted and is not complete. I am just telling you to not believe in science so much. It doesn't really matter that you believe in God or not. It only matters if you actually know what God is. People say that God is a matter of faith, but it's completely wrong. God is matter of experiencing. People who believe in God or who reject God are on the same level. They all don't know what the truth is. They are just simply assuming an idea. Just believing in God won't help you. You have to experience God. That's the only way you can know God. And let me tell you that if you have known God, then there's nothing left that is unknown. In knowing him, all is known. So no one is going to tell you about God, and no one can actually tell you. You have to experience it yourself. Why don't you connect with him yourself? The Bible says, seek, and you will find. Why do you ask for proof? I can tell you something for sure, that God exists in you, and he exists in everything that exists, and he even exists in the things that don't exist. It's confusing, right? I can't actually explain what God is. And even if I try to explain, that would only make things more confusing, pushing you further from the truth. But I can give you some idea of the reality. So now, if you are really serious about knowing God, then listen carefully. Give me all your attention. Just listen to what I say. Don't try to question it for now. Just let it go through you. Many great masters couldn't actually explain God, but some of them have tried to do the impossible. The great Saint Lao Tzu says that the God that can be named is not the real God. The God that can be talked about is not the real God. If you can understand this phrase, you can, right here and right now, understand the mystery of existence and know what God is. Okay, then let's try to understand it and find God. So if I say something about God, the moment I say it, it becomes false. The moment I say the word God, it becomes totally false. The moment I say his name, it slips way. Because God can't be named and talked about. So now we are clear that God can't be said in any manner. So now one thing is clear, that God is something that can't be said. So what can't be said? Look around you. There are many different objects. You could name them, right? Almost every physical object, any matter that exists, can be easily named and described in words, right? You can try your hardest to name a physical thing that can't be described in words, but you won't be able to find anything. Because the moment you say it, you already described it and named it. Isn't that funny? If you see a chair, you can tell it's a chair and describe it. You can understand this, right? So now we can say clearly that all physical matter and energy, everything outside of you, including your physical body, can't be God because it can be described in words somehow. So reject everything outside from you. It's clear now that God can't be outside, right? Now, turn inwards. Close your eyes, right now. Now what can you see? Pause this video and observe for a little time. You can see your thoughts, right? It's pretty simple that all thoughts, no matter what they are, can be described in words. In fact, thoughts are words only. Now again, observe for a little time. What else do you see? Emotions or feelings? Yes, there are many emotions and feelings inside of you, right? Many people think that God is an emotion, a feeling of love and devotion. No, it's completely false, no matter how difficult it is to describe our feelings, but we can describe them for sure. I know it's not fully possible to describe some feelings, but we somehow can put them into words, right? Then we can just cross out our feelings and emotions also. They can't be God for sure. Now again, observe and ignore all the thoughts and emotions this time. Now what's left? Nothing, right? There's nothing inside. You accept thoughts or emotions, right? But who is the one that sees this nothingness? You will say that it's me who sees this. Okay, so you can see nothingness in you. But can you see yourself? Who are you? Think for some time. We have rejected the physical world, all thoughts and all emotions. Now, only two things are left: nothingness and you. Now don't tell me that you are this or that. You are not your thoughts or your emotions. And I am very sure that you are also nothing outside of you, right? You are the one that looks at all the things that happen outside. You also look at all the things that are happening inside, like your thoughts and emotions. If you see a table, you will be sure that you are not a table and you are something separate from it. So you can't be the one thing that you are looking at, right? But you can look at everything that exists. So are you nothing? Yes, we can say that. But you do observe everything, even though you can't describe yourself in words. But the most accurate way to describe you is that you are awareness. Be clear that you are not the word awareness, but we are using the word to describe you. That's the only way to separate you from this nothingness that you see. So now what's left? Nothingness, right? But can't you name nothingness too? Yes, absolutely. We can describe nothingness too. Now, reject nothingness too. I know that it will be hard, but try to see what is left now. You may see nothingness, but reject it too. It will be hard to see, but if you drop all your ego and logic, you can see the God. You can meet him. He is right here. You have desired to meet him from ages, and now you can finally be united with him again. Your lover is right here. See, he always have been there. So God is not anything physical that is present outside of you, not anything mental, not anything emotional, not anything that you can see. He is not even you. So we now can't even say that it's nothing because he is not even nothing. So that's why it's impossible to explain God. It always has been. One thing that you will notice is that you and God are quite similar. The only difference between you and him is that you have awareness, and after some experience and observation, you will be able to see that you and him are one. You were always one. It's better to say that you were never there. Only he was. That's why Jesus said that me and my Father are one. How beautiful is that? I can't say anything more. Experience it yourself. Don't mistake my words for God. All that I said was nothing God. It was just a finger pointing towards the moon, but not the moon itself. I know I will get a lot of hate on this video, but brothers, no matter what you say to me, I will always stand with the truth. I'd rather be disliked for telling the truth than be loved for telling lies.